Muhammad made a crucial mistake. He denied the deity of Christ. Now, when was Muhammad born? 570 AD, which means he obviously never met Christ. But Matthew, Mark, John, Peter, James met Christ. And they all insisted that Christ claimed to be God. Repeatedly in the Quran, it is stated Jesus is not God. He's a good prophet, but he's not God. Repeatedly in the New Testament, it's stated Jesus is God in human form. Now I have a decision to make. Who am I going to trust? A man who lived 500 years after the fact? Or people who lived during the life of Christ, met him, and talked with him? Sir, when it comes to historical knowledge, that's a no-brainer for me. I will always try and go back and connect with the eyewitnesses to be my primary source of information about any historical person. If you think I'm going to trust the guys who flew planes into the U.S. World Trade Center to be my primary source of information about Muhammad, you're nuts. I think that's bigotry. To find out about Muhammad, I better have the intellectual honesty to read the Quran. And if I use some terrorists as a reason to reject Muhammad, I'm a narrow-minded bigot. So, if you're seriously considering Islam, you better read the Quran. And all I'm doing is standing here saying, if you're really interested about Jesus Christ, you owe it to yourself to read the Gospels, the eyewitness accounts of Jesus, and ask yourself, does the evidence point to him being reliable or not?
What is one of the greatest moments in Christian scripture, but the moment when Jesus has brought to him the woman who is caught in adultery. And what does Jesus say when the crowd wanted to stone her for her sins? He says, "He who is without sin cast the first stone." And the crowd go away. Now, in the Islamic tradition, a very, very similar thing happens when a woman is brought to Muhammad and he has her stoned. So, history of Christianity, more bloody or less bloody if Jesus was more like Muhammad?
It's right there. Read it. You read it too fast, almost like you were scared to read it.
Yeah, I've read it. It's, yeah.
And so please tell everyone you're okay with your God allowing men to marry minors, young girls, premature girls who haven't had periods, who haven't had their menstrual cycle, and have sex with men who will then be divorced for other men to sleep with. You're okay with that? This is in your Quran.
No.
This is for all ages until the end. It hasn't been abrogated.
I don't know.
So imagine you had a 9-year-old sister and a 30-year-old Muslim man wants to marry and have sex with her. And in Islam, Sharia, that's lawful. Are you okay with that?
No.
You sure you're not okay with it?
No.
Okay. What about a 54-year-old? A 54-year-old man marries your 9-year-old sister and has sex with her while she's playing with dolls.
No, but the thing about,
before you say but, are you okay with that?
No, that's not right.
But what? So it's okay for your Muhammad 54-year-old to sleep with 9-year-old Aisha. That's what you're gonna say?
No, I don't believe that happened. I believe that she was at the age of maturity.
You want to bet she's not? There's not a single hadith in Bukhari, Muslim, Sunan Abu Dawud, Tabari, Ibn Kathir, Qurtubi that says what you said. They all say she was 9. She hadn't had her period, which is why she was allowed to play with dolls. Please don't deceive yourself. And I'll give you the hadith if you want. Hadith after hadith after hadith.
I understand that there's these Sahih hadiths, right? But there's scholars even today, like I don't want to. I don't
okay,
know
but
the names,
give me one scholar here. Let me do. Don't give me a 20th century or 21st century scholar who's humiliated by what your prophet did. Quote to me a single scholar from the 8th century, 9th century, 10th century, 11th century, 12th century, 13th century, 14th century that said Aisha wasn't 9 years old when Muhammad mounted her.
I can't quote any right now, but
let me give you an article where you can't, because I'll tell you what Ibn Kathir just said. I just gave you one article,
Sure.
but let me give you another one. Ibn Kathir. You know why? They were not living at a time where the kuffar were the majority and they had social media, so they could be honest because they didn't give a damn what others said. They could kill them. But conveniently in the West, when the Muslims are outnumbered by unbelievers and media, oh, no, she was not. All of a sudden, she wasn't 9 years old. Okay, well, let's see.
Okay, Yunus bin Bukair stated from Hisham bin Urwa, from his father, who said, the messenger of God married Aisha 3 years after the death of Khadija. At that time of the contract, Aisha had been a girl of 6. When he married her, she was 9.
How old?
She was 6 when she got married.
No, not married. When he
she was
contracted marriage 6, when did he marry her?
9.
Okay, now keep reading.
Okay, so the messenger of God died when Aisha was a girl of 18.
Okay, keep going.
Okay, yeah, so this tradition is considered
Gharib, unique in this line, meaning it has a unique chain, but keep reading.
Okay, sure. Al-Bukhari had related from Ubaid bin Ismail, from Abu Usama, from Hisham bin Urwa, from his father, who said Khadija died 3 years before the emigration of the Prophet. He allowed a couple of years or so to pass after that, and then he contracted marriage with Aisha when she was 6. Thereafter, consummating marriage with her when she was 9 years old.
Okay, another one that says 9 years old, another chain. Okay, now keep reading.
Okay, what Urwa stated here is mursal. Okay, incomplete, as we mentioned above, but in its content, it must be judged as
mutassil, uninterrupted, meaning that there is no flaw, no weakness. It is a perfect matan story. But keep going. But anyway, forget what I'm saying because this is the paragraph I want you to read.
Okay. His statement, he contracted marriage with Aisha when she was 6, thereafter mating marriage with her when she was 9, is not disputed by anyone.
Repeat that again?
As well as it's not disputed by anyone.
Now, let me tell you when Ibn Kathir wrote this. He wrote this 700 years after the death of your prophet in the 14th century. And he says, no one, no Muslim scholar, no jurist, no hadith scholar disputes this. And now we're finish it.
And is well established in the Sahih collections of traditions and elsewhere.
So why do your Muslim scholars in the 21st century dispute this when Ibn Kathir, 700 years after death of your prophet, said nobody, no Muslim scholar disputes this? So you guys trying to play games with us? Keep reading. Finish it. Keep reading.
Okay,
keep
sure.
reading slowly. Keep reading.
He consummated marriage with her during the 2nd year following the emigration to Medina. His contracting marriage with her took place some 3 years after Khadija's death, though there's disagreement over this.
Yep.
The Hafiz Yaqub bin Sufyan stated Al-Hajjaj related to us that Hamad related to him from Hisham bin Urwa, from his father from Aisha, who said, the messenger of God contracted marriage with me after Khadija's death and before his emigration from Mecca when I was 6 years old. After we arrived in Medina, some women came to me while I was playing on a swing. My hair was like that of a boy. They dressed me up and put makeup on me, then took me to the messenger of God, and he consummated our marriage. I was a girl of 9.
Are you okay with that? This is Aisha telling you, I had hair like a boy. I looked like a boy. I was playing on a swing. And then the messenger of God took me in, consummated marriage. Man, he had sex with me when I was 9. You're okay with that? You're okay with a 54-year-old taking a young girl who had hair like a boy, so she looked like a boy, being sent off after playing on swings to go in bed with a 54-year-old man who now is going to penetrate her? Tell me you're okay with this.
It does.
What are the sources of Islam?
I am sure.
What are the sources of
The
Islam?
Quran and Hadith.
Right, so if I can show you a hadith when Muhammad had a slave, what will that mean?
Is it a strong hadith or a weak
It's a Sahih hadith.
Okay, I would have to. Let's show it.
Yep. Can everybody pull up your phones and find a hadith where Muhammad had a slave? Let's show you a whole.
I got one with you, I reckon.
Found one. Slavery
Right.
for war.
Do you want a drink, Bob?
Yes, water, please.
Yeah.
Right. So here's a hadith, right? So Sahih al-Bukhari, volume 3, book 46. So it's Sahih. Yeah, you said Sahih hadith. Okay. The Prophet of Allah did unexpectedly attack the tribe of al-Mustalik, short of any warning, as they were unconcerned. And while they were busy watering their animals, their fighting men were killed, and their women and children were taken as slaves. So is slavery permissible in Islam?
Well, let me finish.
Answer the question.
No, you don't let me finish.
You interrupted me before I'd even finished reading.
Taking a hadith of
So
a
we'll
time
find another
before,
one. We'll find another one. Thank you.
Your pleasure.
Quran passage, maybe.
You're not continuing.
No, find hadiths.
Where it says, when they are
I'll get it.
taken, let them go back
Have you
to
read it
their
before?
people,
No, no.
I
or
need
do
to
not
read the great
force them
book.
to convert,
Prove it.
or marry them,
Prove it.
or free them.
Show me.
I have to read the hadith.
Show me.
Show you.
You asked me to show you.
My phone is an absolute mess.
Right, which one?
So you're-
That one.
Here's another one. Here's another one. Sahih al-Bukhari, Book 8, Volume 82. The option of Allah's Messenger was requested when the unmarried slave girl was found guilty of unlawful intercourse. So in other words, there was a slave. Right. So now he's interrupting me. I will go and interrupt some dawah.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go and interrupt some dawah. Let's go and interrupt some dawah.